as the Chinese economy continues to expand at an exponential rate. The era of American economic dominance is rapidly ending. China accounts for more global trade than the US and is the world's largest manufacturer. Experts estimate that the Chinese economy will surpass the US economy before the end of this decade, and it will become 3 times bigger by 2040. Meanwhile, America is now headed to another recession. Our standards of living are steadily falling, and our major cities are crumbling at an alarming pace. If we continue down this path, the future of the next generation of Americans will be extremely bleak. Unfortunately, things are changing at a much faster pace than most people ever thought possible. That's why today, we've compiled some eye-popping stats that show just how rapidly the Chinese economy is overcoming ours. But before checking this list, welcome to 360 Economist. Please support us by leaving a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. Without further ado, here are mind-blowing facts which prove China is completely crushing America. 1. A study in March by the defense website Military Direct revealed that China has the strongest military force in the world. The study said that Ultimate Military Strength Index was calculated after considering various factors including budgets, the number of inactive and active military personnel, total air, sea, land, and nuclear resources, average salaries, and equipment weight. China scored 82 out of 100 points in the index, while the US scored only 74 out of 100 points. 2. The US's gigantic national debt represents over 70% of the country's gross domestic product. In contrast, China's national debt only makes up 31.7% of the country's GDP. 3. China's export economy grew 954% between 1970 and 2010. According to World Bank data, exports accounted for less than 3% of its GDP in 1970. By 2010, that figure had risen to over 26%, down from a high of 36% in 2006. On the other hand, the United States have experienced much more modest growth in the export economy during that same span. 4. The typical family income in China has soared by more than 400% in only 10 years. From 2002 to 2012, the Chinese economic boom contributed to an improvement in working-class living conditions. The typical family income in China increased from $987 to $4,873 annually, a rise of more than 400%. By 2021, the amount was up to $10,200 more than the average from the previous year. 5. While major cities deteriorate into decrepit wasteland filled with drug addicts, the homeless, and infrastructure in disrepair, China is creating a brand new city that is twice the size of Manhattan. Xiong'an, a brand new, green, contemporary, and living metropolis being built in China, will eventually cover an area of 2,000 square kilometers, more than double the size of either New York City or Singapore. Authorities are starting ambitious projects to enhance the quality of life for their citizens, since the country anticipates having 200 cities with a population of over 1 million people by 2025. 6. More than a quarter of the high-tech manufacturing jobs in the United States have been lost to China in the past 15 years. as US-based multinational corporations shifted an increasing proportion of their R&D activities to the eastern region. Contrarily, during that time period alone, China got an increase in R&D investment of 687,000, or 28%, while the number of high-tech manufacturing employment in the United States decreased by the same amount. 7. Over the next 2 years, China is expected to surpass all other countries as the world's top patent filer. China has emerged as a center for domestic innovation, with exponential increases in intellectual property. If present trends continue, China will surpass the US in terms of the number of foreign patent filings made with the World Intellectual Property Organization in 2019, which increased by 45% to 43,000. 8. China now represents a larger portion of world commerce than the US. The eastern country is the greatest exporter of products in the world, and the second largest importer. Agricultural items make up 3.2% of total Chinese exports, manufactured goods 94%, and petroleum and mining materials 2.7%. And the US purchases the majority of these exports, accounting for around 17% of all goods made in China. The country only buys around 6.4% of the goods sold to the US. 9. According to data from the Global Factbook, China outperforms the US in the agricultural and industrial sectors. Only 17.58% of China's agricultural output and 77.58% of its industrial output is produced in the United States. China is also the world's top generator of both wind and solar energy. It is also the world's top producer of gold. Additionally, China controls more than 90% of the world's supply of rare earth elements. 10. China's monetary worth of finished products and services has increased from $1.2 trillion to $17.7 trillion since 2000, as evaluated by the customary yardstick market exchange rate. On present course, it will exceed the US in less than 8 years, but by the official IMF metric, purchasing power parity, China has already surpassed the US to become the largest economy in the world. At this point, the United States must pull itself together if it hopes to compete with the Chinese in the future. We can only hope that our leaders begin to come up with some answers soon, since we are running out of time. China is gaining domination wherever you turn, and America is in decline. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in our upcoming videos.